2 of the interconnected present series. This portion is on parts integration to reclaim wholeness, specifically on helping change makers really receive stressful information without or with less of the trauma and the stress, because one of the things that stop us or prevent us from taking action is that sometimes we don't even want to know what's happening. And it's totally natural and understandable, because it is stressful just to even receive the information, let alone, the taking action part, right? And so we have to learn how to receive it and do the self-care, but even in the process of receiving, right, to make sure that we're open to it, but also hold healthy boundaries. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate a movement modality that I'm creating that combines movements and sounds with storytelling that involves conflicting parts. The story itself is a metaphor for the different conflicting parts of what we're about to go into. And then we'll go into just the movement and sounds for the participants. So this is the story. There was once the daughter of a chieftain who was a very highly skilled and wise warrior. And there was an invading force of these colonizers, these invaders trying to invade her land. And she wanted to fight back. And suddenly her father died. And partly because she was too open to her plans and things like that, too open. The ruling council of her father's kingdom decided to give the kingdom to her uncle, her father's brother, even though she was the rightful heir. And of course her uncle expected her to riot, but she was smarter and wiser than that. Instead, she started secretly building a rebel army to fight back. But at the same time, she needed to cry, to grieve the death of her father. But at the same time, she had to fight 2 different forces, right? Now, not just the invaders coming, but also her uncle as well, to take back the kingdom, because her uncle, being a coward, really just wanted to give in the kingdom to the invaders, and win all the bribes that they might have. So she had to send spies to both her uncle's forces and the invaders' forces, and had to receive information as well. So not only the actual invasion coming at her, but all this information invading her mind as well. And she also needed to grieve her father's death and be soft. And even though she was open at first to all of this, it was just getting too much. Too much. She needed to be strong and hold the healthy boundaries, but also it was just too much information coming at her. So she started building a wall instead. And she started retreating inside herself, going in and in and in, going in. It's like, ooh, ooh. Like in the fetal position, even maybe go down, down. And while that kept her safe for a while, and she also kept pushing back at all of this stuff, she started retreating into herself, retreating and pushing back. And although it protected her at first, it was also preventing her from receiving the necessary nourishment and support she needed from the people who loved her and supported her. All the resources she needed, not just the physical resources, but even the mental and emotional support. Luckily, she had a guide who was also kind of her friend and loyal guard. But one day, came to her as she was, kind of about to cry, right next to a river, and there was this river flowing, 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 flowing. And she just looked at her, and for the first time, she had these tears. And she allowed the tears to flow. Because this guide, this friend, saw her for all she was. For the first time, she could grieve for her father and she did not feel weak. She was finally being able to be in touch with her softness. Because now there was this strength supporting her. So much support from above as well as below coming. And this guide appreciated her strength as well, how strong she was. And for the first time, she saw that her strength really supported her softness, so that she could be strong enough to be soft. This integration. And at the same time, her being soft like that kind of tempered her strength and gave it wisdom and direction, even slowing down her strength so that she could be strategic with her strength. So that now a similar thing was happening with the other issue of the boundaries and the openness, right? And she decided she was going to allow herself to feel both of these aspects of herself fully, just as a loyal God, a loyal friend, and mentor was able to integrate the softness and the strength. So now she decided she was going to feel the wall fully first, that she had never fully allowed. She was going to go, oh, 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 oh. And then she decided to feel the other extreme fully as well. And then she noticed, in both cases, she was literally almost about to fall out, like going down. Ironically, in both cases, she was unstable when she was with the wall as well, because she was moving too forward, literally. Neither was actually providing her with stability. Suddenly she realized that for the first time, and she was like, oh my God, I gotta bring myself back into center. So she decided, I'm calling my power back to me. I'm calling all my power back to me. I'm calling all my power back to me. She repeated this chant. I'm calling all my power back to me. She started going into center like this. From this center, she started expanding her awareness upwards, slowly, slowly. More of a slow boundaries and slow wall formation. She still allowed herself to have a wall around her, but now she was fully stable and came from center. And then suddenly she noticed in front of her, the wall started forming a shape, a round shape in front. And then the shape started opening, closing. Lo and behold, she realized, wow, it's a door. What a concept. It can be opened and closed. Closed to the people who would hurt her and the information that would stress her out too much, or close to too much information when it's not the right time. But open to just enough information even maybe a little bit too much at times, but always only when she is fully resourced. The door would open and close. And that allowed her heart to start opening. So that she has what's called a wide open heart. And a big tall fucking fence around it with a door. And she started opening her heart a little bit. And she realized the two sides of her, these two extremes, really ultimately wanted the same thing. The part that wanted her to be walled off, wanted to protect her from being hurt. In other words, actually wanted her to be safe, to be supported, to be loved. And the heart part that was too open wanted love so much, wanted to receive support so much as well, and wanted to be safe, to be loved. Both sides wanted to be safe, to be loved. One side wanted to be safe, to be loved. The other side just wanted love. So they wanted the same thing. So they started coming together and melding. And then again, back to center. That's the story of those movements and sounds. Yay, how's that? Cool. So do you all want to follow along with the movements and sounds? No.
Sure.
All right. All right. Oh yeah.
This one looks so bad.
So we start with the neutral position, right? Which is just this. Notice the awareness in your hands, in the top of your head, in your spine, and then spreading to your arms and your hands, and then spreading downwards to your feet, and then spreading upwards. And then there's an awareness all around you and inside you. It's just neutral, just here. That's neutral. Then come back to the center. And then as comfortable as you can. So there's a statement called we lean into our edge, but we don't necessarily go beyond it. So we lean, and the more you lean, the better you get at it over time, right? So let's start with going inwards a little too much, right? So we go into ooh, ooh. Back to neutral. Oh. So before we get into the next movement, how did that feel? maybe just one or two can answer when you went inwards. Was that within your comfort zone or outside it? Because for some people that's more in the comfort zone, and for some people it's not.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
A mini explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of was.
Very relaxing to it more gradually as I was there.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. Alright. So now we do the same thing, but we add more dimension to it. So we're not only going inward now, we're also will then push against what's coming at us, right? So go back now. Ooh. And then with one hand we push out. So now we get into the physicality of what was mentioned even in the book, right? Trying to be two opposites at the same time. Trying to connect to yourself, but also being concerned with others, right? Notice how uncomfortable even the body position is, right? It gets tense and tiring. Alright, go back. Ooh. And then go. And how is that?
It's more exhausting.
Right? Yeah. That's more exhausting, right? Because it's unbalanced. And even in the physicality of your body, it's very imbalanced position, right? Yeah.
It's not energy to put up walls.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So now we go into the same thing, right? So how to do this? Like we go like this. So we go E. And then we move the E like either to the right or the left. We go E. And then we go and then like stay there for a bit, right? And then again you notice kind of a tension, right? And then your body movement again is away from the center. So this is the other end of the spectrum where you are again disconnected from yourself, but also not too open instead of the wall, right? Trying to understand as well. And then come back to center. So how was that?
Rebalancing.
You balance at the end, right? But how was it being to open?
Like, very unstable.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So the beauty of doing it within the safety of a movement and sound practice is that this is not the real world. It's a simulation, right? So you get to experience all the extremes of yourself, like almost like for the first time, you allow yourself, because you know that this is a simulation and that there's no tiger coming to attack you or anything like that, right? Like it's not the real world, it's a simulation. So that's the beauty of a practice like that, where like, and the more you practice allowing yourself to be all of these things, the more you reclaim these lost parts of yourself so that you can truly know what your actual center is in the real world as well. This is like there's like a training mat for the real world simulation of it. So that's the whole idea, right? All right. So now we go into back into ooh. And now we do an E, downward, and then go E. And we're connecting in the center, and we're spreading our awareness outwards. So we are creating a boundary now, but still connected to center. So we go E-ah, E-ah.
Yeah, yeah. You might notice, for some people, even like a little tingling in your fingers, especially if you curve your fingers, like cupping it like that, you might notice it more, yeah?
A little bit.
Yeah, then that's energy combined with awareness. And some traditions, like Chinese Qigong, you might call it the Qi or the Qi, yeah. Come back. Now stop right now. All right, so go back to E. Now we go into the healthy openness. Also connected to center. So we go ooh. Remember, you're still connected to center and you still have the boundary around that. And the I is happening within that. We go So now that we're fully resourced in a more boundary way, we're ready to come back to center and take focused action as well, right? So we're adding one more layer to this when we come back. And this represents focused action, right? Go. Ooh. So it's like an arrow, right? It's very focused. In fact, archery can really help you with this side of things. It really can. And like, which I know some people in this room have done. I know Frosty has done, yeah. You've done, right?
Yeah, I just bought yours today.
So this is just the focus aspect of it, right? So speaking of archery, let's do the archery movement as well. Right? So now after the focus, right, the focus clarity, now we're gonna take the focus actions, right? So we go back E, and then we go shift like this, and we go like you're shooting a ball, you go ooh. 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 And go back like this. And go back. Ooh. 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 You can even imagine, like, as you shoot the ball, you're shooting an aspect of your awareness, a single pointed focus awareness, out into that front of you, in front of your finger. Ooh. Ooh. And then as you do that, your awareness expands inward and outward. And then you meet the support of the world. There's like an energy of support that suddenly supports you. And you become part of the larger whole. Now come back. Ooh. And after the focus action, we must also rest, right? So now we fill ourselves with some energy, right? So now we go back into the neutral position, put this hand a little bit lower down, and then curve your hands a little bit like a ball. In fact, you might feel a tingling again. You can even imagine like a ball here, right? Like a ball of awareness, or energy, or light. And then bring your hands upwards. And then spread, moving up with that and curve it, receiving energy from the sky. And then bring that energy down into your body and fill your body with it. So now you bring it down to your temple, your cheek, and you just like, the energy is just flowing down into your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your belly, your waist, hips, pelvis, thighs, knees, legs, ankles, feet. And now bring this energy upwards and then bring it like this. So now you're holding it, and then bring it downwards into your belly, and then fill it up.